We were talking about the stigma of a Ramadan Muslim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you see somebody who like might not be doing the most Muslimic things on their day-to-day basis, but then when it comes to Ramadan, they're probably like they're most on their deen. They get labeled a Ramadan Muslim. Like on a regular day, you don't even do this, right? You know, like everybody shames them.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection
Podcast.
And today we have some very special guests. Guests we've been meaning to have for like
forever, literally months and months and months.
It's actually a fraud. We're not the real guys.
No.
Well,
you are. Don't discredit yourself like that.
We have Hidaayah House. Well, the group Hidaayah House, but individuals we have Warda and Mustafa. I said that so foggy.
You did, but it's okay.
Did say it, but it's all good.
No, but that's nobody says my name right ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's Warda.
Warda?
What?
Yeah,
like
Warda.
they're saying water in Australian?
Yeah. My sister actually calls me Water. Like, well, the nicknames I've had growing up is ridiculous. Like
Water?
Crazy.
Damn.
I used to answer, crazy enough, to vodka.
What?
Well, I'm not even joking.
Who called you vodka?
Growing up, because it went from like Warda to like Varda to, you know, like for some
they
reason,
start
we all
playing
did the
around
Russian
with it.
accent, and then Varda to vodka. And then
Damn.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, if you don't know, Hidayah House is. I'm holding this in my hand like.
I know. Okay, let me intro them.
Okay,
Because
you intro them.
I feel like I discovered them before you did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Take the reins.
So way back when, during COVID, as you guys know, I feel like every time we have guests, I always introduce them this way. I met them on Clubhouse, okay? This was like 2021, I want to say, like before the podcast actually came to fruition. I met Abdi Fattah, like through another mutual friend. And I don't even remember what we were talking about, but it was like a room, and he was just talking about like community work, and I was like, wow, I was so inspired. I'm like, wow, like one day when I start a podcast, I'm gonna have him on.
Yeah.
Not knowing, I think at that point Hidayah House was a thing, or like it was just starting.
It was,
right?
It was.
What year did Hidayah House start?
Well, I know that's a great question for people. I used to tell them 8 years, thinking because I was like, before I joined Hidayah House, I was like, oh, like they've been doing it. I think I've been a part of Hidayah House for like 3 years now, 3 or 4 years. 3 years, I'm just pushing that. But and then I thought they established themselves like before, like the guys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, like 5 years already. But they said nah, it's like I think altogether it's 5 years now.
Oh wow.
Okay. MashaAllah. But still, there's like, what made you join Hidayah House actually?
Actually, I was recruited. Okay. I was recruited. I don't know what they wanted from me. And they found me on Clubhouse. That's
no
the
way.
crazy part. Yeah. For me, Abdi Fattah and Ayub were on Clubhouse. Like, and ironically enough, I used to be very shy, despite what people think. So if any of my friends see this,
I find that, exactly. I find that hard to believe.
Like, you're always talking, and I'm like, no, guys, if you put a microphone in my face, I used to have a panic attack. Like, it was so bad. But I loved helping people out. My friend Zaina wanted to have a discussion on Clubhouse, and we were talking about, I think, like, the R word and like the word female. And then we're like, yeah, we had a discussion about it. And then Abdi Fattah and Ayub happened to be in it. Yeah. And then they like he put me in a room on the side after. A private room. And he was like, I just want to say we have to have you on Hidayah House. And I said, hi, hello first. Like, and I was like, what do you want from me? I'm just a girl from Wisconsin. Like, I'm not even, but like, you know,
wait, you're from Wisconsin?
No. Oh, shit.
Come on.
I'm playing.
I'm just a girl from the West, you know? Like, you know, like, I was like, what do you want from me? And then he was like, no, like, he's like, if you don't join Hidayah House, like, I'm going to disband Hidayah House. No. Whoa, chill.
Yo,
he just put a hold on my
blackmailed you?
I said, this is too much pressure. Like, I can't handle it. But then, they recruited me, and I was very honored. And then I was like, yeah, I'll join in. But it took a while to, like, get into the groove of things. Even though they're very easy people to talk to.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are established men. Like, I can't just, like, come in here and say my 2 cents. Like, you know, so.
Were you the first, like,
no.
girl? Oh.
But there was 2 girls before me. And then those 2, ironically, I've never met. I actually only met one in person by accident. But the first 2 girls, they told me about them. But I think this time they were getting married and things like that. So like they took a time from Hidayah House. So I met one of them only one in a meeting, and then the next time we had a meeting, the other one joined in, but the last one wasn't in it.
Gotcha.
And then after the third meeting, sorry, I keep kidding.
No, don't worry about it.
I never saw them again, and that was the last I heard from both of them.
Oh, really?
They were just gone.
Hey, people get busy, especially in Toronto. I feel like that's
yeah.
You got a rotating cast.
I used to sit there and be like, guys, I can't be the only girl with 6 guys. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
6 guys, I can't be the only girl.
Yeah.
You were the diversity hire.
Yeah, I was. I said, oh, I'm the female power to say like, yeah, we listen to girls, right? And
Yeah.
said,
I want to ask Mustafa the same question, like why you joined. But before I get to that one, I want to, because we kind of skipped over a part of exactly what Hidayah House is.
Oh yeah. Like everybody, if you don't know, you should know. You know, Hidayah House, I would say, and you can add into it honestly from your perspective. Yeah. But to my understanding, Hidayah House initially started as a means for like gun prevention and like violence prevention. So the two founders, Abdul and Ibrahim, when they started it, they did it because a lot of their homies were like either locked up and things like that, and they wanted to help people in the system like go back into society.
Yeah.
Right.
So I remember like when they told me the story, they said they were holding like their first event. And they said to themselves, if this first event doesn't go well, we're never doing this ever again. And subhanAllah, like a bunch of the guys showed up and they were interested, and they were like, no, you guys should keep doing this. And then that's what helped them like continue on.
It motivated them
to literally like continue on, and they built Hidayah House and they started adding like, you know, other crewmates. But then ever since then though, Hidayah House has like dispersed into other like
facets, like
so it's not only gun or violence prevention, gun prevention, like we do mental health now a lot more.
I've seen that.
So I think especially with COVID, I think that's what like a lot of it asked for, so it turned into mental health. But we also never say no to anything as long as it's within like our morals and beliefs, like we don't say no to anything. We try to like be like, Hidayah means guidance, right? So we try to be there in any form of guidance to people.
I love that.
In any way. But
I love that.
Yeah. And Mustafa, is yours like the reason you joined?
It's a similar view, but
you can pull the mic a little bit closer.
I would add on to that, like we do have like a lot of community work with like for example mainly like the Somali youth, and it goes beyond that, you know, with a lot of the colored youth and the black youth, and the reason I joined Hidayah House, I would say, is I joined back in like September. So I'm a social work student, and I needed placement, and I met Abdul Fattah back in the summer, you know.
Yeah.
So I joined as a placement student at first, and you know, I met Abdul Fattah at a different event, but he told me what he does at Hidayah House, and I seen like events about Hidayah House here and there. But after, you know, talking to Abdul Fattah, meeting him, and when I needed placement, you know, I started and like I seen what everybody's doing, and I said, yo, this is even the reason I want to get into social work.
You resonated
you know?
with it. You like
exactly, like this is the same reason I even wanted to like do this program, you know, help our own people, and you know, just be able to help someone else.
It literally falls in line with your work.
So exactly. So I said this is the perfect opportunity for me to learn exactly. And my placement, it's like a best placement opportunity for me.
Alhamdulillah, it worked out,
you know? And also a good growing opportunity, you know?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's why. What is the top dog I hit?
But can we go into, like, who are the actual members, like who are the founding members of
my
Hidayah
God.
House?
Wallahi, I think now I have it down pat, but before I used to sit there, I'm like, who are all these ghosts people? Like, you know, because honestly, when I first joined, I thought it was Abdul Fattah and Ayub, and I was like, these are the only two people. And then he was like, yeah, and there's so and so and so, and I said, who are you talking about? Like, who are these people?
Honestly, for me, I only thought it was Abdul Fattah for like
a
year.
I knew there were more people. I just never knew who it was. So.
That's the thing is though, they're like, what is it? Sharmarka would call them like secret shoppers. They're there. You just wouldn't notice that they're there. Like secret shoppers. And he ironically is one of them. So it's Abdul Fattah and Ibrahim are the co-founders, and then you have DDA, you have Sharmarki, you have Abdul Razak, and Abdul Razak is somebody you will never ever see. Like even I don't see him. Like I think I met him at one event, and then Abdul Razak goes, "Oh yeah, this is Abdul Razak. He actually carries all of Hidayah House's money." I said, "Oh okay, so the ghost has all our money. All right, nice." Abdul Razak, and then it's me, and now Zaina and Iman and Mustafa. Oh, and Ayub.
Wow.
Okay, so you got a couple more girls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had
to slowly slip them in there, right?
I said, guys, don't leave me alone.
Yeah.
When I joined though, I feel like it was pretty established, you know, like a lot of like, you know, there was a good team already together and everybody had their, you know, part, and it was like, you know.
Yeah, there was other members before, but like as like growing up, like, you know, like things happen, people, and like they're always still gonna be members in our hearts. Of course, this is now like I would say the core group.
And I feel like that's for a lot of like Sara and I have been in so many, you know, youth-led groups as we were growing up, and like it's a rotating cast.
Yeah.
But as long as like you're still kind of like reaching the goals or you know whatever you set for you, that initiative that you started.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't matter really who's behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're still helping the community like you guys are, like no one really cares who's going to be running in the background, right?
True.
No, but I always feel so bad though, because I'm like, I think for me, like, because I think Abdul Fattah, like, he'd prefer not to be in the spotlight, which is, as you can see, he's like trying to fade out from it.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, he's the most confident one, so everybody like throws him into like, which is why everybody thinks it's just Abdul Fattah.
Yeah.
And, like, whoever happens to be standing next to him during an event, you know,
They're the faces.
Yeah, they're like.
That sounds so familiar to like our history too.
Really
We're both thinking of the same person too, I think.
Yeah.
But that does happen a lot where people put a lot of like pressure on like a single person instead of kind of distributing it.
I think sometimes like, especially with community work and volunteering and stuff, like some people really do thrive behind the scenes and they don't want to be recognized. Not saying that maybe he does, like I'm sure he's trying to get away from it too, but I've also like been in those positions where people are like, oh yeah, you could talk in the public, go, and I'm like, me? And I'm like shaking in my boots.
Yeah.
Like, thanks guys for coming. even doing the podcast, like I remember during Clubhouse days, I didn't speak, I would just listen.
Yeah.
And I think just from listening to the conversations that were happening on there, I'm like, man, people are saying some crazy things. Like, if I had my own podcast, I wouldn't say that. And then, you know, next thing you know, we're saying some outlandish things. But, you know, like that Clubhouse environment was like, made me realize, like, you know what, it's possible. I'm gonna start a podcast. And like to go back to how I was first introduced to Hidaayah House, I think they were promoting an event at the time. And you guys also used to do a lot of winter blues events. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool concept. Like, have you heard of winter blues? Or like, did you see it?
Have you?
I've seen the post.
That's not enough. That's crazy. Seen the post is crazy. To be there. This is the fifth one now.
Yeah.
Remember,
like even Hidayah House for me, like I only really fully was aware of it like maybe a year and a half, like midway through COVID. I have an Android. I missed the Clubhouse. Okay.
He was never on the Clubhouse wave.
You chose violence. That's all I heard.
Okay, no judgment here. Okay, no judgment. But I'm just saying, I missed all the Clubhouse stuff. So look at me, huh? That is an Android. Okay, that's filming you.
That looks like a microwave. You know why?
Oh my god, that's my actual phone. Sense. Okay, I use that right now.
I shouldn't admit that.
Okay, let's get past the Android hate. Okay,
I love this though. Finally,
no.
No, I'm Android hater.
What was I even saying now? I completely forgot what I was
back
saying.
to Winter Blues.
Winter Blues.
What was the inspiration behind starting that? If you guys know, because I think it started before you.
It did.
Yeah.
It started when I was a fetus. You know, I think like a lot of times, as everybody knows, like when your wintertime comes, you don't see your friends as much. There's no sun. You're stuck inside. Days are shorter. Nights are longer.
Yeah.
You barely want to step outside. Everybody automatically kind of becomes a homebody all of a sudden.
Yeah.
When wintertime comes. Me, I deteriorate in winter because I need to be outside, like, you know? And you get like, obviously, like our body reacts to things like that. So I think what the community needed at that time was like an event to bring people together, to remind people like, hey guys, these feelings are normal, they're okay, here's how to understand them, here's what it is, and like here's how to combat it. So that's why we brought Hidaayah House into
and I feel like you guys have been doing a lot of initiatives like around mental health, specifically like centered around mental health, but just also getting rid of like stigmas in general. Like there was one that I'd never even thought about, but was actually an interesting event where you had an event to destigmatize epilepsy.
Good job.
I almost had it there for a second. Okay. But you guys had an event to destigmatize epilepsy, which I never even thought like there was a stigma that severe about it. But I'm sure that's something. an issue in the community?
It was actually so one of my she's like a little sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
She has epilepsy, and you know, like growing up with her and like seeing how much she struggled with it, and like how like she wanted to hide it from the world was such a big thing. And I was like, you know, and like seeing how much she's changed since then and now, I would like, you know, it's like a proud mom. Okay,
my bad.
No, I'm joking.
I had to close the window. It was getting a little cold in here.
You were trying to be so discreet about that.
He was. I was like, oh, I'll just put the camera on her.
Yeah, real quick. But she's grown so much, and like I think a lot of people don't understand how epilepsy affects people, like themselves, and like what they can do, and like even their family members.
Right.
So it became something where like I knew to the point where like even when she would fast, like she used to hide that she couldn't fast because of her epilepsy. Like she had to take pills, otherwise she would literally have a seizure.
Yeah.
So it like, and if people asked her like, oh, like why aren't you fasting? You know, like everyday immature, why aren't you fasting? She used to be like, why are you minding my business? Like she used to be like so on guard. And having that event, honestly, it was all her idea, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna support you on it. Like whatever you need, we're gonna do it. And it honestly even opened my eyes to like the amount people don't know about epilepsy, and also like to know, like I ended up finding out that there were people who had friends who felt the exact same way she did. And they were like, this is such a helpful event. Like I didn't even know that I needed this, or I needed to understand this or learn this to be there for my friend, or even for my friend to come to this and understand themselves better.
Right.
So I was like, wow. Like,
We gotta leave. We gotta leave. Like asking girls why they're not fasting.
Yeah.
In like 2023. The fact that that's still a thing. In general, like
that and henna. I'm not even gonna lie. Those two things used to get me. Like it's like, you know, when they ask you like, is that Sharpie?
Oh my God.
Stupid. You know, nobody ever asked you that. No. It's every time I had henna, I was like, what is that, Sharpie?
It must be the West End kids. They're kind of weird.
Oh, okay.
Nobody in the East End says that.
Don't let the West End see that. I don't even know if they claim me though. They're like Hyde Park. Like,
you did say you know, you're like West End downtown. You just say it, okay.
Like, I don't know that ideology. Like from back then, I used to be like, you have to cut it out. I said, guys, internet's free $99. Like, please, search it up.
Yeah, but to go back to the initiatives you guys have, like the main one, I guess, like you mentioned with Winter Blues, is mental health, right? And the stigma around mental health as well. Like recently you guys posted about a phone line that you guys have open.
Yes.
Or like just some way people reaching out if they're feeling.
Yeah.
So at Hidayah House, our crisis prevention line, like, you know, we always try to have opportunity to help when people reach out, right?
Yeah.
So like whether it be mental health or addictions, or a lot of people face different things, you know, especially when it's in our community.
Yeah.
And when we think about it, you know, we try to do initiatives where other community, like people don't have something to go towards, you know.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times people like text and like they ask for help with this, or like someone's going through this, you know, I'm going through this, and it's like trying to create programs and like even just the crisis prevention line, like so anybody can call, you know. Like a lot of people go through actual mental health issues, especially in our city.
Exactly.
Toronto.
Right.
Yeah.
Toronto's like a lot of people say Toronto's crazy. Why is Toronto crazy though, you know?
Yeah, it's because people are trying to deal with their mental health issues and maybe ways that aren't the most productive.
Yeah, and there's just not enough funding. So you can literally see it on our streets. Like people are going through these mental health crises.
In my head, I just like, I was like, defund the police.
Don't worry.
But like even in the Muslim community specifically, like it's there's a huge stigma against it, right? Like I'm always arguing with my own parents. This might be kind of like controversial, but like a lot of times they'll try and brush off someone's mental issue. What?
Okay, I have thoughts on that. I have thoughts on that.
What?
I genuinely think.
I didn't even say what I was going to say.
I know what you're about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going to say like they're brushing off like our mental health. Like they don't understand it.
No. I'm going to say like they won't take it as mental health. They say like, oh, you know, jinni boy or something like that. In our language, they mean like, you know, he's possessed.
That sounded like Somali for a second.
Yeah, they
it basically means like they've been possessed in a way.
Yeah.
And they won't seek out help for their child, or if it's their own child, or for their family member that they see are going through something.
Okay, but even on that point,
what
I was going to say was that for a lot of our parents, they've been in survival mode for the first like maybe 20, 30 years of their life, right? So thinking about their mental health is a luxury, and they never actually had that opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have been in a position to truly understand, depression, anxiety, bipolar, etc. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like I used to not resent my parents, but I'd be like, you guys just don't understand. Like,
you don't get me, mom.
Yeah.
But it's true, yeah.
But like going through when I was back when I was in therapy, like that was something that I learned. I'm like, you know what? Like, let me humble myself for a second, because the fact that I can actually pay for therapy and like be in a place where I can seek professional help, and my parents never had this opportunity. So I'm like, y'all want to talk? Let me be your therapist.
Yeah, and even speaking of parents, like with the events that guys are having, I think recently you guys started introducing more adults and elders into the events, right?
Yeah, I think it was like, honestly, it's a surprise when they come. I'm like, whoa.
Do you have like parent focused?
We do have some parent focused events where it's like I think we did it with the Somali Community Center, recreation, and it was Black mental health, where they were talking. It was specifically catered on Somali parents. But honestly, could go for like any East African, because we're all one and the same at this point.
Yeah.
And it was just how to help like our parents better understand mental health, and also help the kids, like, I don't know, navigate their relationship when it comes to mental health with their parents. So we had like an event like that. But even like recently, the event that we had with How to PTS Deal, when we did have
who's coming up with the names? Who's coming up?
How to PTS Deal.
Bravo on that one.
I'm literally just a creative side. I say it. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, are they gonna go for it, or am I gonna be stupid?
Hey, you gotta just throw it in there.
But we had it, and then like to hear when the Habrera was speaking, like to see that, like, some parents are understanding and like they get the barriers, and that they're proud of us for like breaking these barriers and trying to break down like the generational trauma that like they have, or they didn't understand before. Now it's like a little pat on my back. Like, wow, like
exactly, because it is honorable. And
and I will say, like, it's true. That our parents, for example, coming back from a generation, they're first generation immigrants, and like we're born here and we see things different, and we might think, like, come back to your point, like, it's so true, because they've been through like a lot, and just coming here, and then them also trying to give us a better life, right?
Exactly.
But then we live here and we understand, we see these for example, these mental health, and we might sometimes, everybody's in different situations. But someone might really be going through something, and their parents might actually tell them, "There's jinni in you," just go read Quran, and which Quran's gonna really help you.
It is, but they're also dismissing.
Seeing a professional, But it doesn't like stop the fact that someone actually might need help. But also, like, there is that extra, like, you can be a little bit stronger sometimes, based on where we come from, in our current situations. Because
I think there's the disconnect is that, like, people say, like, let's say you get sick, like you have a cold, like, you can make dua, right? And it's good to make dua to become better, but you also take medicine. And it's the same idea, right? Like, sure, you're going through some mental health issues, like, you can make dua, you can pray, but you can also seek help through some medical professional, or not, what do you call them? Medical professional in a way. So I think that's
mental health professional.
That's the word. Exactly. So I think that's maybe the connection we need to start making, or trying to make in their heads, the people who are not understanding the situation.
But I think to even add on to that, like, if we take it in, like, how, I don't know if you ever been like heard that saying where it's like, oh, we didn't have mental health in like back home. That's because like the way we live here in Canada is completely different than the way they lived back home, right? Like there's like everything was so direct. Like it was like everything had an answer, everything had a specific way. Like if it wasn't this, it's this. If it's not that, it's that, right? White, But like here, based on like everybody else.
It's also like
it's very gray over here. There's a lot more grayness, right?
We're in a unique position too, because all of us are first generation Canadian, whatever our parents are, like our ethnicity, you know what I mean? So we grew up here, they grew up there, and I always have this conversation with my parents where I'm like, you know, your upbringing and my upbringing is like night and day. And they agree. They're like, oh, when we were kids, you know how we used to like, you know, when they tell you they walk through a jungle and a forest and all this, I'm like, you walk 15 minutes, relax. You know? So...
Especially when you go back home and you actually see their walk. Right. Like,
I mean,
literally around the corner.
Have you seen their schools though? Because I'm like, damn, I would not have gone to school in this place.
What? Oh, and I never saw the inside of the school.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But I think, you know, one thing that I learned is just kind of being a little bit more patient and merciful on them, the same way that they are with us too, right? Like going through therapy, I basically had to teach my parents what mental health was. And now, like, alhamdulillah, they're so understanding and they get it. But I'm also like, I want like other parents to also have that type of relationship with their kids, because not everyone has mental health issues, but like, let's be real, the state of our city right now, the way that life is going, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to talk about that again.
Yeah, the economy is just depressing. But with like through Hidaayah House and the events that you guys hold, do you find that more and more men are finally being more comfortable discussing mental health? Because I feel like, and maybe this is a generalization, but a lot of times it's more so women that are very comfortable expressing their emotions. You know?
You got a man right here.
Yeah, like I want to know your perspective.
From my perspective and the way I see it, everybody has like mental health, you know, like we all have a mental, you know, and the way we think doesn't change whether you're a man or you're a female, but like our emotions are different, you know. But I think being in 2024, it's already kind of like there are men that go to therapy and everything, but being a person like studying profession, actually trying to be someone that helps people, I just feel like that's what for me I like to do, and I understand people, and coming from other men, like we have, for example, our events, like our last event, PTS deal, there were a lot of other males that showed up, you know, and it's a good thing to see, because at the end of the day, a lot of things we go through in our city, for example, the gun violence or the addictions and everything, a lot of the men in our community are, for example, like just in neighborhoods, you know, it's those men that need help, you know, and it's not like someone goes to them and tells them, oh, you need help, because they never know they need help, you know. So just understanding the situation and coming from the situation, I feel like for me it's something that I can, you know, help with, and understand it.
And it helps to have guys like you who like can reach those guys in the neighborhoods, right? Because you know, like you mentioned, there's a lot of women in the field, but not a lot of men. But the more that there's male representation, like the easier they'll feel to actually come out and maybe benefit from some of these events and speak about it.
Definitely, you know, I can agree. Even with like other placements I had and working with, for example, sometimes children and youth, you know, I can get to a kid. I can see myself like helping another kid. The way I can, like the way I see this, like this, for example, white person or like this woman can't help them, you know. And
because they see someone that looks like them.
Exactly, and that's mainly what it is. They trust you when they see someone that looks like you, and it's like, well, like, you know, you can actually help me, you know. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and how much can you hold within yourself? You know?
Exactly. That's what we're trying to get. I think that's the ultimate thing you're trying to get across to them, right? That we're all human here. We're not going to judge you for what you're going through. We're going to come and help you, right?
I think like for me, what I've noticed for Hidayah House events, like in like the male population, one, I think when it comes to guys, and I could be correct me,
guys,
correct me here if I'm wrong, but it's like one. It might be because, like, you know, whatever, Friday night, Saturday night, and it was like, what's the motive? And then they're like, oh, we're gonna go head to this because like our homie's there. So like, if that's what brings people out, then like, cool, that's what brings them out. That's what what it usually is. Some people, because they genuinely are interested in the subject. Some people, it's like outreach, right? It's like, you know, like, or if they see people like them, for example, like when they see like Abdul Fattah or Shamarki or this and that, and they call their homies over, they're like, oh, this person has also maybe lived this situation before, but they're doing this, so like, why maybe I should check it out too, you know, because my dog's is over there, so why not?
And even like our last PTS still, you know, like at the end of the day, maybe people like showed up for different reasons, you know. But like when at the end when we had our passing around the mic and everybody kind of was saying something, you know, a lot of different type of people had something to say about something they learned.
Yeah,
you know?
people would be surprise you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised, you know, and yeah, like that event had mainly to do with, you know, PTSD, you know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
something that's not talked about enough.
Yeah,
I think like it doesn't matter. Like for me, it doesn't matter how you got there. It's like yo, you got there, great. Like for the girls, we know they probably were interested in the subject, but for the guys, it's like however you got there, great. A lot for me, I always have to guilt trip all my guy friends. And I'm like, do you even care to support me? Like, so that's how they're like, no, of course, next event I'm there, and I'm like, I'll see. So, but it's nice to see them come.
I want to know, like, walk us through. Like if for those that are listening that haven't been to a Hidaayah House event, walk us through like what they can expect. Like what's the general program? Like for example, the PTS deal, what exactly went down? What can people expect? Because I think sometimes like the fear of the unknown can bring some anxiety, and they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to talk about my feelings in front of strangers.
Yeah.
Okay, I think a lot of people assume that it's always Somalis, and I'm like, guys. It's not that. There's just a lot of Somali people in Toronto. It's by accident, but it's like it's open to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're East African or not. So it's a welcoming environment for sure. Even though the subject might be serious, we are a very fun and loving group. So it like the atmosphere is not that serious when you walk in. Like there's a level of like fun and professional at the same time that we like to hold, because it's like we don't want to sit there and feel like you're in a lecture and we're nagging you, but we want it to be like we always make sure it's like an interactive experience with our audience, whether it's you want to just listen or you want to be a part. Everybody ends up being a part of it after, because they just find that comfortability. Like alhamdulillah, I'm glad that they do. And you can expect that it's never going to be the same. Like we always try to like one up ourselves every event, like try to make it different. Like we sit there and we'll be like, okay, this worked this time, this didn't work, and we're very open to criticism. So when people come over and they're like, hey, next time could you have this, or do you guys mind trying this, or being mindful of this, and we're like, heard, got you, and then we bring it up in our meetings and we try to be mindful of that. So I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's genuinely like a good time, and everybody that comes to a Hidaayah House event, whether it's people you don't like, or it's the crowd you're trying to avoid or whatever, you know, like some people are like, oh, is it gonna be like hood guys, or is it gonna be these type of girls, or is it this, like whatever it is, you end up all having a good time, and you don't even realize.
That's my biggest pet peeve, when people are like, who's gonna be there?
First of all, you know who says that? When you're the planner of your friend group. I
never say that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought you were about to say that.
No. You're the only one actually out of our friend group, but like I'm retired planner. Okay.
As you should. It's tired,
and I'm like, it doesn't matter. You either showing up or you're not. Okay.
No, literally, I'm like, bro, you'll find out when you get there. Like, look, open your eyes. I said you're going, right? Because I'm there, and I said you're coming. You're gonna come go. Like, that's it. Every day, I'm like, some people like, oh my god. Speaking on that, sorry. Side note, it's like, have you ever like go to like an event or a function and you didn't plan it, but like you're telling somebody else, hey, come with me, and they're like, all right, like who's gonna be there? Like, what's going on? Like, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you want me to ask for the set list for you? Like, do you want me to A through Z? Like, I'm like. Just come, like
it's literally like you're like, you know, just don't come. I've told someone that before. It's like, or I just don't respond. If they ask me that, I don't respond. I'm like, whatever. Forget about you. I don't need you.
Honestly, stay.
You're lost.
Exactly. It's their loss. It's their loss. One more event I want to talk about that you guys did was that I wanted to know more about was the Reformed. What was it called again? It was the Reformed Muslim event that went on in Ramadan.
Okay, I was sitting there saying, whose event?
So I'm
was I
assuming is that like I'm assuming that means like people who might have been not in the streets, but like, you know.
No, so that one was about that was during Ramadan, right?
Yeah.
Like so that was about the Ramadan Muslim, technically, like the Reform Muslim. So people like reshaping themselves during Ramadan.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it was about. Do you still want to know about it? Like, do you still want to know?
I'm assuming it just means like becoming a better Muslim during Ramadan.
No, so basically we were talking about the stigma of a Ramadan Muslim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like the whole ideology, and like when you see somebody who like might not be doing the most Muslimic things on their day-to-day basis, but then when it comes to Ramadan, they're probably like they're most on their deen, and they get labeled a Ramadan Muslim, like, oh, you don't. on a regular day you don't even do this, right? You know, like everybody shames them into like to try to remind them that they're like
that's been a big like topic recently of people just who think that they're like they're more holy or more
holier than thou.
Holier than thou, exactly.
Yeah. So the policing is crazy. I think we were just talking about, I'm like, you know, like, why are you shaming them during the month that's literally meant for like you to be your best and for you to put your best foot forward? I'm like, you're not the best person every day of the year, but like during Ramadan, we all literally strive to like wear the hijab correctly, like or pray all our 5 prayers, pray the sunnah prayers, like fast the full hours, you know, do whatever dhikr and this and that we can. So it's like, why are you getting at that person because they don't do that? Like, you know, make dua that they like
inshallah it continues going on.
Continues going, and all of us continue going on. So to shame somebody and to guilt somebody out of it is actually, I think we're talking about how it's like I think like, you know how like backbiting is like a major sin, like a big sin. So we're talking about different aspects of like people who do speak on others and calling them Ramadan Muslims, like the more harm they're doing to themselves by saying anything about it, you know? So it was a very interesting conversation. I was very passionate about it, but it was very fun to like be able to talk about it because I'm just saying like
because TikTok I'm a TikTok abuser here. Okay.
I think we all are.
I'll accept that. Okay, might be addicted a little bit, but like around Ramadan, that's a lot of the TikToks that you see people are making, like that whole the guy who's like he's like wearing, I don't know, tech fleece one day, next day he's wearing a thobe outside or something like that. So that's definitely been a topic that's come up every Ramadan recently, at least to my eyes. What?
But the way that I see it, it's like Ramadan is the month of mercy. So if you're gonna try at any time of the year, you might as well try then. You never know, you might feel inspired to continue after Ramadan.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's the ultimate goal, inshallah. But I don't think people should be shamed.
It's sadly the community we live in today, right?
A lot of it could be projection too, though.
100%.
You know,
I
sometimes
feel like that's mainly where it comes from, right? It's like, because why would you hate on someone doing something better?
Exactly.
I think you know what it is too, and I'm just realizing this. It's like when it's like it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, I blanked. Good job.
Oh,
no, you know, there's a saying where they say like some people want to see you do well, but never better than them.
Thank you. This is girl connection. I got that. Change the whole podcast. Women connection pod. Get into it. But
it might be a spin-off. I'm just saying, okay.
Just saw it on the side. But no, it's literally that. And it's like they're mad because it's like, okay, this person's actually, because maybe even during that month, that whoever's making fun of you might not be doing the best during that month, and they're getting at them. Like, you're supposed to be doing worse than me right now, actually. So why are you behaving? And it's like people also need somebody to like dog on when they feel bad, or like when they need somebody, when they want to do something bad and they know like, oh, this is probably the person that I can like take with me a little bit, but then that person's not doing, they're like, what the heck?
And hopefully they're influencing the other way, you know, they're doing something better now.
It could be like an ego thing, right? Because if you're struggling internally and then you see your friend who was probably worse off than you now doing better than you, you're like, damn, I used to look at that person and feel better about myself, and now I feel worse when I look at them, you know?
It's so crazy. I think like recently one of my friends, she's a revert, and she was just talking about how she had to cut off her longtime best friend, that person's not a Muslim, but because like every time, like she doesn't mind hanging out with her friend, but it's just that every time her friend wanted to hang out, it was always to go to places that she no longer wanted to go to, or she no longer could do. She didn't want to be in specific areas and this and that. And mind you, this girl wasn't that type of girl before, but it was like, and then her friend was like, oh, you put this hijab on, all of a sudden you like, and she's like, excuse me? Like, and then so she was like, yeah, you gotta go, because that's like, why are you mad? Like, I'm like, I don't understand why people get mad when people try to 180 their life. Like, even if it's like
people don't like change,
or like, it's crazy to me though, because I'm like, hey, like not everybody has to take a baby step. Yo, if I'm flying off the cliff, I'm flying off the cliff. Like, you know,
crabs in a bucket, man. People try to pull them down.
For sure, it's change. You know, like you said, like people like the same thing over and over again. But like, imagine like if we all like kind of supported each other, you know. And like that's the kind of community you want to give each other, you know. Everybody supports each other, so everybody can be the best version of themselves, you know.
And I think that's what the goal of this event was, right? To like make people put in that headspace, to where they think more positively about their like Muslim brother or sister, right? And hopefully encourage each other to be better Muslims.
Before we continue, we need to take a really quick
break.
Yeah. But we'll be right back to it. What got you into social work? Because that's what you do like for school, right? So what got you into that?
At first, I would say what got me into it was taking another program. Actually, I took computer programming to begin with.
Computer science?
Yes. And I dropped, like, I didn't enjoy it. I was in it for a month. Yeah. And I didn't enjoy it one bit, and I dropped it. But I was doing it. Yeah. It was like, it was difficult. It was so difficult. Yeah. And I said,
it's not it.
Nah, it's not it. I said, do I want to see myself doing this? No, yeah. I don't. And honestly, I took a year off, and I just started working. And I don't like sitting around, so I said, I need to get into something else, you know? Yeah. And I took that year to figure out what I wanted to do. And, I feel like, in high school, they don't really kind of guide you, and something also like me giving back, going back to the community and trying to give back. Like in high school, they don't guide us as Black youth and like as colored youth. They don't.
Well, they like discount you very quickly.
Exactly, and especially where you grow up or just the school you go to, depending on they might not even give you no effort at all, Right. So I feel like I fell a victim to that, and I didn't know which way I wanted to go. So it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. And I said, hey, like, I feel like I'm really good at understanding people, and like I have a passion for helping people, Nice. And let me get into this program and see where it takes me, And starting off like the first year, I said, I enjoy this. Like, this is what I want to do, Good. And slowly, different opportunities showed up, I'm working with kids because I work with kids sometimes, Yeah. And it's a good opportunity to learn also like how, like, because before we're adults, we're kind of kids, and the whole mental thing about at first, like a lot of people go through trauma as kids, Yeah. And that affects them growing up, For sure. And so just learning that too, and being where I am today, just being able to help other people. I think that's what I like. And it's also, I feel like it's not the like.
Wait, she's not waiting outside, right? Oh no! Come on inside. We're just talking.
What was I saying?
How you work with kids?
Oh, we do.
And you like started to enjoy
working to help people, and just also doing what I can, my part, and just. Like, I feel like education's first, you kind of have to educate yourself and learn.
Do you feel like going through the schooling has changed your perception of mental health too? Like, do you feel like now you start to recognize how you feel and you're more in tune with your mental health as well?
Definitely. Like, I feel like that's like one of the main factors, like just understanding yourself more, because I shall know what is it.
You have to understand yourself before you can start understanding others, I think. Exactly. Something like that. Yeah,
definitely. And just if you have been through anything, just understanding yourself, and being able to help anybody in general, you got to be, I'm not saying I'm good, but like you gotta understand yourself.
Yeah, you have to have some type of foundation yourself.
Yeah, and it's just like the courses and stuff, just like learning about sociology. Like you study sociology, right?
Yeah.
I just had like one sociology class, and like I find that interesting,
Yeah.
And like psychology, and like it's interesting, and you kind of learn more about yourself with that. So yeah, just learning every day.
And I think as you go through schooling, but also just volunteering and working, and eventually when this becomes your profession, not only will you learn more about the job itself, or I guess the field, but you eventually start to become more comfortable with yourself, and you're still young, so you have a long way to go.
No, go ahead.
I said, like, exactly like you said, like I'm just still trying to figure it all out, have my hands in everything,
I'm sure this is like a very good experience for you then.
Definitely, I'm loving this experience. But we said,
did you have any background in any of this, like sociology or anything? What's your background?
Nothing.
Nothing?
It's literally nothing.
No,
I call myself I just learned the terminology, was a Renaissance woman, but I never went to school. I'm scared. Never went to school.
Next program is stigma against people who don't go to school.
Yeah, I would like to think that I started to break down those barriers. Like my mom had to learn the hard way for me, but it was genuinely like what it started off was I'm such a like indecisive, not like indecisive, but like I'm such a what if person.
Yeah,
like everything I'm like, what if this? What if that? What if there's more out there? What if this? What if I don't like this? You know?
Yeah.
And so I couldn't like pick something to just go into, and I was like that scared me, like having to pick a choice, like.
Yeah.
four walls were closing in on me. So they're just like, but yeah, I was just like, no, I'm not gonna pick until I know what I want to do.
Right.
And then like obviously the whole argument with your parents and everything, and I was just like, listen, who's paying?
Exactly.
Is it breaking your bank or my bank? Somebody has to pick here.
Yeah.
And like I'm not gonna. And I'd also, my biggest fear was that I knew so many people who were like, oh yeah, whatever I studied, it was useless. Like they don't use that at all. And I was like, if I say that, I'm gonna jump off a cliff for a. Yeah. I wouldn't do that, but
no, but
mentally,
I
you know what I mean?
I get you.
But it was just, so I never ended up doing that, and then I ended up finding community work, and I think that like my biggest thing was and that's why I still like just said like no school, but my biggest thing was, I was like, there's so much out there that you don't know about because like school pushes like a certain agenda and like path for you. And it's so crazy because like especially like my school, like my high school was specifically like if you weren't a STEM student, you didn't matter. So it was like if you weren't into science, technology, or math, or like engineering, like you were like a bum. Like they didn't care about you. You weren't their favorite student. Taking all the college classes. Like you know, like if you were more into art or whatever, like you were just like, okay, like here goes little miss, like, you know, freehand. But like, and it's crazy because like you get neglected and you feel like, okay, like you're not gonna make money, you're not gonna find anything in life. But then there's so much out there. It's just that you don't know, and they don't give you those options. They don't share those options for you. So like,
I was literally saying that like when you're waiting at the door, I was telling them like how high school is like high school is where, you know, it's supposed to give you the most guidance, you know, and for us like they don't care, and the only people that are gonna care is our own people, you know. So just like we have to keep that in mind, you know. These people don't care about you.
That's why they need representation.
Definitely.
And that's what the Hidayah House is supposed to do, right? Like show you there's people out there like you who are successful in these different fields.
Exactly. And
I feel like you guys have done a really good job at cultivating a safe space for like literally everyone.
Don't flirt with me.
No, like I've been like silently monitoring from the sidelines, just kind of like, wow, what are they up to now?
One thing,
watching me? You've been watching us?
But you guys also run. Tell me if I'm wrong. You guys also run Shoot for Peace, right?
No. Okay.
No? You're way off base.
You're horrible.
Okay.
No, I think it's very funny. There's a lot of organizations out there. I think people just get mixed up with like who's a part of who. Yeah. Me especially, I get like people see me in one place and they think I run all these organizations. And I'm like, guys, I actually just go to these places. I have
so you were
no
just
say.
Going to that.
Yeah, so for Shoot for Peace, I was a part of their program. Yeah. They do a lot of programs, but they started as a photography program, and that's what I initially signed up for because my friend Zaina, who's a part of Hidayah House, had done it, and I was like, you know, like I actually like photography. I want to get into it, and that's where I learned it, and then it opened me to an even bigger community. And like more people that I knew as well already, but like it became a whole new space. But I think our morals just aligned, so that's why people get like confused when they see a bunch of us like here and there, because they're just like, oh, it's like two big organizations at the same time. No, but a different guy runs that. His name's Yassine, so he's the founder of that organization.
That organization,
and it's a great one. Honestly, a lot of people love it. Like it's, I would say it's on the same vibe as Hidaayah House. But theirs is more arts based.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
They're next on our list, by the way. So Yassine, if you're watching this.
Exactly. You might have to get Layla. Layla, she's like the supervisor or manager there. And she like top dog. I'm telling you, she's like the tiniest girl ever, but like top, literally runs it. If Yassine's not there, Layla is everything.
I will find her.
I was going to ask next then, you know, since, you know, I kind of messed that one. So do you guys already have like an idea or like a plan of what's going to be coming in the future for Hidayah House? Maybe there's some stuff you can't say, but I just want to know.
No, it's not. There's nothing that I can't say. It's so I'm scared of. It's like, so basically all the other guys, they're like significantly older than us. Yeah. They're not that old. It's like a 5-year difference. But they like to make it sound like they're like on their deathbeds and they're going to wilt away. They have to leave their legacy with somebody, you know? Yeah. And they keep like, they throw it on me. Like, I'm just, that's like, yeah, you're taking over Hidayah House. And I'm like, stop. Please. Like, and he'll always tell everybody, like, I hate that he does this. And then even, like, one of the girls started doing it too, but he'll literally go to people and he'll be like, do you know what does my boss? I'm like, why are you lying? Why would you tell me that? And like, mind you, he, like, everybody in the whole world knows him, and I'm standing there, Miskeen girl in the corner. He's like, yeah, that girl right there is my boss. And I'm like, Like
you might be one day.
Like it's so crazy, but his goal, to my understanding, is to give Hidayah House. I don't like the word give because it just feels so weird, but to like hand down Hidayah House to transfer possession to me. I'm holder of the key now, and it's kind of scary for me personally because it's like they're so well established, like, every single one of the guys in there, and like I'm like, oh my god, what if I can't bring in the same crowd? Like, what if I don't do it the same? And I'm like, I also don't like taking other people credit for anybody else's work. So I'm like, no, like I'm gonna reference you guys 24/7. Like it's not possible.
Yeah,
I think you can step into that role and they can still get their flowers, but so can you, because both of you individually play a big role in it, and you may not want to admit it, but you do because like I reached out to you for, actually I think I reached out to, was it you? We were talking about like how this whole thing came about. I saw you at Hassan's thing, and that's when I was like, well, you guys want to come on the podcast?
but the thing is that, like, we still have to commend you guys for even lasting 5 years. Not saying it's over, but like, you know, for being even relevant to this level for this long. Because like me myself, I've been part of a bunch of organizations, and like I've seen other organizations where like they have a few events and then they kind of like teeter out because unfortunately like people just get busy. Or get burnt out.
The same 3-4 people that are running things, and it doesn't ever expand.
Yeah, so it does say a lot, the fact that it's been around for 5 years and continues to put on events on a regular basis. It's not like 1 or 2 years. Like, you know, you're here. You guys have even the movie.
Your movie nights.
Nights that you do on the regular.
Oh my god, yes, I forgot about that.
And things like that are pretty easy to put, not easy to put together, but like they don't require, once you do them, you kind of can figure out how to do it again and again, repeat them without too much worry. Like it's not a lot of work.
An established base.
Yes, an established base. Having events like that, I feel like help like with longevity of and also of events, or like to organizations, I mean. Yeah. And the Winter Blues, like that one's been going on for 5 years, so that's something that's established as well. I'm trying to remember it. That's how I remember it. I'm unlocking it in my brain and putting it in the box.
You know, you're doing pretty good.
I'm trying, okay? But having events
just researched
like that,
this 2 minutes ago for a walk.
No. Because I've known, the thing is, the reason she said that is because my memory sucks.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
So remembering names even from 30 minutes ago would be hard. But having things like that where they're becoming regular and people kind of expect them to happen really do help, especially when it comes to transferring over to the new, what do they call them, the newbies, or like the newbies essentially.
They're not newbies.
You're not newbies at this point.
25.
You know, but inshallah, you know, when Mustafa feels like in the future he can start putting in a lot more in the organization as well. Like there's something established already. So that definitely needs to be commended, because it's unfortunately something that's missing in a lot of initiatives that I've been part of and like I mentioned before.
Oh man, I'm excited for it though. Honestly, for me, like where I see, like it is scary, but I'm very excited. Like if they do pass it on, like I'm like, because the way they make it sound is when they say it, they're like, yeah, it's all you, boss, and I'm like, really, hello, why? I'm like, they're like, no, don't worry, we're not gonna disappear, and I'm like, I don't believe you. Like,
I think the support's
going anywhere. Like she's, I don't know if she's talking about.
Exactly.
We're going nowhere. Right?
It's my big boss.
Exactly.
But
he's still fresh.
I know.
I'm just.
He hasn't been destroyed by the pressure yet.
He's trying to take me out. He's like, he's like, God, he's like, I'm gonna be the new MC. Sorry, I've established myself here. There's level to that. I'm coming. We like convinced every new member that there's like a hazing when you get into Hidayah House, and that's only because there's no hazing. It's just because one of the members told me like that I was gonna get hazed when I walked in. They're like, yeah, before you enter Hidayah House, actually, yeah. So it's literally what I kept doing. Like every single time, I'm like, listen, actually, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And then they would ruin it every time, because honestly, I'd probably follow through with it. You know what I mean? Just an itch.
Yeah, it might be a thing too. You know?
Bit, but
being a little bit of camaraderie between you guys.
But I think like the way society is going now, I think like a lot of people are into community and like, you know, the whole togetherness. Like I think for a while, like Toronto was really apart and really separate, and we had like energy about us. But I feel like we're rooting all that, like I guess I say childish behavior, like mindset behind, and we're trying to like grow and build as one, and like open opportunities for other people in other areas, you know, and like whether it's inspiring somebody else, like, or being a part of it for even a second, like, I'm very excited to see like where it goes and like where I can take it and the rest of the members can take it, or any of the new members, and like see what the community needs as we keep going.
Right.
Which is the great thing about Hidaayah House, is like it's honestly like based on the community. It's like, what you guys need? Yes, more. You know? Like, what do you want?
Because unfortunately we do have that reputation of being the screw face capital, and like and like we deserve it to a point. Okay, I feel like people, like we mentioned earlier, people say like who's gonna be there, that kind of thing, like that's a very, you know, deep rooted in our culture. So being more open, like sometimes I get jealous of like Americans when it comes to how they're a lot more like they're a lot more open to doing events and stuff. Like I don't know if there's a lot of similar groups like communities like this in America or other places.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I don't even think there's some.
Like, just like you're speaking about how the city is, you know, and it's like, you know, it's more together here. Everybody is just, you know, giving each other a side.
Exactly.
You know, keeping it moving, and it's like there's not that much togetherness. You're saying like America and other places, and I feel like overseas is much different too. You know, it's just this Western.
It is,
you know?
But I feel like this one's kind of sort of unique to Toronto. But I feel like post like the pandemic and all that stuff, like things have gotten a lot more. People are more open.
Yeah, you know why? Because we missed each other. For
Exactly,
the last 2
that too. Yeah,
there's two types of people: people who miss each other, people who went and like hermit crab mode. They're like, I never want to see people again.
And honestly, there are probably a lot of the youth. Who, if you think about it, their whole high school career was spent in their rooms.
Yeah,
that's
so sad.
Yeah, so like.
No,
nah, just my last year. Yeah, but I'm not complaining. My last year was the easiest.
But I loved. Like, I didn't do nothing at high school, but like I just loved the freedom of being in high school. You know,
it was a lot. Yeah, like
it was a rite of passage in grade 12.
Yeah. You didn't get to do the praying.
I didn't get my graduation.
Yeah, graduation, all those things.
No prom.
None of that.
Did you have virtual prom? They put you guys on Zoom.
I got on
laptop.
Oh my god!
That would be funny.
Ask somebody on a date.
They asked us for a virtual grad though, but
really?
I was sleeping. I said no. What am I doing showing up on Zoom?
Well, you know, at least it wasn't like for us. I had the opportunity to go to my exam, but not my exam. Sorry, my graduation.
Yeah,
but. I was in uni at the time, and they had an exam the same day.
Oh yeah, I remember that struggle. Yeah, I went to mine.
You went to yours, right?
I regretted it. I was like, I'm never gonna see you guys again.
So at least
just give me my paper. I'm going back to school. You know?
Yeah. Like, exactly. Like I had the same idea, right? I was like, whatever. It's my graduation.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I was super involved in high school too. I was a lot more like, you know, a hermit basically. Yeah. So I kind of feel like I wasted my opportunity versus the kids who didn't have the opportunity. So I kind of feel bad in that case. But, you know, it is what it is.
I feel like a lot of us even like the only reason why we even care about graduation is because half of our parents didn't graduate. Yeah, that's right?
Absolutely.
So we're all like, they're like, oh my god, yes, my blood. They did it.
I don't know. Is it the same in your community where like in our community? If you graduate high school in America specifically, they go crazy. Like they have a full on party for you.
It's like a wedding.
Oh yeah, I've seen those people in America. I'm like,
it's very American.
I actually get jealous because I'll be like, yo, I don't want to graduate. Like, what?
I never had that. I was like, Mom, why don't you throw me a graduation party?
No, ours were never that extravagant. Like our parents, like, you know, they'll go get you a cake from Loblaws, graduation, and then your name on it, right? Yeah. And they call your family and take photos. And you don't even want to take the photos. Yeah. So like it's so fob-esque, but
and like, this, you know, it's just so they can send it back home. That's
all literally.
Exactly.
Show you off a little bit, you know.
Yeah, because you're, you know, for our parents who maybe never got the opportunity to go to school, they kind of live vicariously through us.
Yeah.
So
not only in school, and a lot of these.
Trust me, I know. Every time I tell my mom, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna go travel and I'm gonna go with my friends." She's like, "Wow, like you're living the life." I'm like, "Yes, girlfriend, you should."
And I just got my mom out the house. Like she was such a homebody.
Really?
Like, go outside. Yeah, she was such a mom where like everything, like every kid had to be at home. Like if we're not at home, she's like freaking out about us. And then like eventually, like I'm like, hey, like your last kid is growing up, like there's like go outside,
Yeah.
please. It's only because I was like, yo, I just want the house without you in it, like no offense, like go outside. And now she's outside more than me. Like she comes home at 5 a.m. and I'm like, now you understand why I came home at 5 a.m. right? And I'm like not promoting coming home at 5 a.m. guys.
She just walks with you sitting at the couch. She walks in, like, where have you been?
And then I'm like, and I actually get offended when she doesn't call me.
I'm not even joking. The times that my mom, and you know my mom, when she goes out and she comes home late, I'm just sitting there waiting. Calling her like, hey, do you have a key? No, can you wait for the worst is when my mom goes out of the house and doesn't have a key. Or can you pick me up? Oh,
I'm leaving the door unlocked. I don't care. Let them come in. I don't care. Okay.
Oh, my mom, it
I'm
makes
the
me
parent
laugh.
now, right?
Yeah. Mom will call me and be like, don't fall asleep. At least make sure the door's unlocked. But like, you know, and I'm like, you're sneaking in the house like a 2-year-old. I was like, you know, rebellious face. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Now I know how they feel. I feel like we're going to become more strict than our parents were on us when we have kids.
What?
Really?
No.
I think so. I think I'm going to be like that. I don't know.
Sorry,
You're gonna be a
future
helicopter
kids.
mom?
Sorry,
I'm not a regular mom.
Sorry, man,
Strict mom.
She's not a cool mom.
But the camera is about to go off. But I would want to, you know, do you guys have anything like last notes or mentions?
Actually, I was going to ask them the location that you guys have. Is that strictly for Hidaayah House?
No, that's also another misconception.
Oh.
So it's OK Studios. They run that location. But one of the guys who's a part of it is really good friends with Abdul Fattah.
Gotcha.
And so they have been ever so fortunate and kind enough to lend us that space, like free of charge, to run these events, you know? So honestly, we've been very fortunate and like we've been able to help people out that we love. Don't always ask for freebies, guys.
Yeah.
You know, not every day, but
Where can they find you guys online?
Yeah.
Hidayah House on Instagram, Hidayah House. We have a link tree on there. Also, Hidayah House 2 H's in our Instagram. But you spell Hidayah House Hidaayah.
Okay, I'll put it up. Don't worry, it's video.
Yeah, it's video. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe
Actually,
I spelled it wrong. Never mind.
No, for the audio listeners, I guess that kind of helps. Yeah.
Okay, Hida. Is it 2 A's?
2 A's.
It's first or after?
Oh my
Hold
God.
on, I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, what is it? Yo, because I know how to spell it too, but like people would be
Hidaayah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's like 3 H's in here.
yeah, it's like,
Hidaayah.
yeah,
Okay.
So Hidayah, and
I'll
then
put it in the
house.
description.
Yeah.
And it's pronounced Hidayah. People say Hidayah. What's Hidayah House? I'm like,
What?
who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, it's actually named after like Abdul Fattah's mom.
Really?
Her name's Abu Hidayah. So that's her name.
That's so cute.
And that's where they got it. That's like they named it after her. So
That's very cute.
if you say it wrong, you're disrespecting his mom.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that's where you can find a lot of us. We also have our email and like link tree up on there. So you can always DM us. And then everybody also has their personal accounts, which you can find low key on the Instagram. So it's not that hard to find us.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually everything's just Instagram based for us. Like, just online.
Real quick before we end it, make sure you guys go to their Winter Blues event. Once I get the date confirmation, I'll put it in the description. 17th of February. And I'll put all the details below. Okay, so make sure you guys show up. We may show up.
Yeah.
Or maybe just me. I don't know. I'll show up.
I might not be in the country. Okay, sorry.
I'll show up and represent for both of us. So you guys better be there.
But wait, do you guys want to shout out your own Instagrams too?
Yeah. We'll link your Instagrams if you guys want.
_cut.
That was so
I got you. I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm also a barber, so if you need a...
Okay. Mustafa _cut.
Yes, sir.
And I'll put it on there. Don't worry, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. And also Warda.
Oh yeah, my name is Warda.mxd. So WARDA.mxd.
Okay. And thank you guys for listening again to another episode of the Cousin Connection podcast. You can follow us at Cousin Connection Pod on YouTube, podcast on YouTube, but pod on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And thank you again, guys, for coming
thank you
through.
guys for coming on. Like,
yes, it was an
I feel
honor.
inspired. No, of course. This is a long time coming. Inshallah,
I want to be back. You guys are so fun to talk to.
You're
it's
so
actually very fun.
It's almost like we've been doing this for 122 episodes.
Something like that.
Yeah,
But no,
episode
Jazakallah.
123, right?
Exactly. And with that, we'll end it off. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh.